Hello, good evening, and welcome to Garblag Games. It's Warhammer Wednesday, and tonight we're going to be playing some Wrath and Glory, episode 2 of the Bellerophon Index, the adventure that I'm making up as I go along. It's not strictly true, I do have notes. Featuring an all-star cast of people who know the game system better than me and the lore better than me. So what could possibly go wrong? When last we met our intrepid band of, I hesitate to use the word heroes.
Not yet.
To be fair, that they were at the bottom end of tier 1, so kind of like scum more than anything else. They had been sent down to the 317th level of Hive City Amarthia on Gilead Primus in order to find out whether or not an auction that was taking place legitimately had a page from a book that they've been trying to track down. I'll let them tell you what happened next. And I will randomly determine. No, I won't, because I can't roll anything. Right, I guess I won't randomly. Oh, there we go. I can randomly determine. No, I genuinely can't randomly determine anything. 2, that's Jim.
Hello.
Jim.
My name is Jim.
What happened last week, Jim? Not last week.
So we went down into this cesspit of what I believe is called the Underhive, led by a young fellow who's a ganger, who I've got my eye on very much. Yeah.
Yes, good point. That reminds me, actually, before we go any further, somebody has to make a conviction test at difficulty number 3.
Well, I'm reading, so it's got to be someone else.
Yeah, it was said ganger, in fact. So, Aaron, if you could make a conviction test at difficulty 3, because somebody uttered the name of one of the ruinous powers.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. He did do that. Okay, so this is a corruption test, right?
Yep, that's right.
Isn't he near the sister right now?
He is right now, but you hadn't activated that when he did the thing. So this is a...
No, purity of faith is just a thing
at
all
a
times.
Universal thing? Okay.
It's a universal thing. If he is within 15 meters of me, which I believe he is, he gets double his rank bonus to any corruption tests he has to take.
Okay,
I don't think you ought to be allowed for that.
For purity is faith.
Yeah, I believe we ought to burn him.
You're not there. You're currently burning someone else elsewhere.
Woo! 3 successes, 8 failures, but I got the 3 that I needed.
You got the 3 that you needed. You do not suffer from any corruption.
I'm going to have to bow down and kiss Sister Evelyn's feet because that was a massive crap roll.
Yeah, so we went down into the Underhive led by this ganger who I've got my beady eye on. Yeah, he's either going to be broken over my knee or purged in the light of the Emperor. Anyway, we went down as a group and we went to an auction, I believe, to buy or to get an exhibit, which was a page out the Bellerophon Index.
Yep.
Bellerophon, not Bellerophon. We got there. It was quite a well-organised auction. We won the auction fair and square, and we got the page. The sister and her crew went to get the page from the warehouse while I stayed behind and commiserated the others that didn't get it. With fire.
So an approximate translation, halfway through the auction, old Majestus, the priest of the Emperor, decided that actually he didn't like the look of some of the other attendees at the auction and was going to turn his flamer on them, which caused an all-out gang war in the middle of the auction.
Sakar might have planted a little bug in the good father's ear that
there was a
that
slight
they were
suggestion
heretics.
that there was something on the cob. during which battle Sikaar and Sister Evelyn left to go and liberate some relics, followed by Octavian and Julius battle shortly after. And then the battle was brought abruptly to a halt by las cannon fire from up in the ceiling of this large chamber, leaving poor old Father Majestus stood there with the las cannon pointed at him. Meanwhile, in the warehouse, Sister Evelyn, what did Sister Evelyn do, Dan?
She annihilated two poor souls who were clearly heretics at the front door, booted in said door, and retrieved allegedly the hand of a saint of her order.
Yeah,
she didn't
the
care about the
finger
page
bones
of the book.
of Saint Agnes.
Yeah, she didn't really care about the page. Somebody else went and had a look at that. I believe there was some more heresy in the Res suggested releasing some Kroot that was locked in a cage. Suffer not the Xenos to live, I'm afraid to say. So I do hope he doesn't open that cage.
The less said about anything else being pocketed, the better.
But I didn't see any of that. I was concentrating on the finger bones, and someone got the pages. And I was I do believe Sister Evelyn was in the process of burning an elder banner, which I believe there might be someone to try and come and collect.
I think she was considering burning the elder banner.
Yes, there was definitely consideration. There was
consideration was about as far as she'd got. Yes. Okay, so that's where we were, and that's where we are. So we'll pick it up back in the auction room with poor old Father Majestus and this smoking las gun up in the ceiling, and a little light clicks on. Looks like it's about 4 stories up in this warehouse-sized room, silhouetting a figure in a window, and the Vox speakers crackle on in the room. And a voice rings out that says, "I don't believe that you're the usual sort of person to attend one of these functions."
After seeing the results, I think you ought to have one of us here every time.
You've rather destroyed my client base. This puts me in a terribly awkward position.
I sincerely hope you're not going to side with them. They were heretics. To be a friend of a heretic is to be a heretic yourself.
No, they're not my friends. They're my customers.
Well, customers. Dealing with heretics.
Any dealing with any kind of heretic.
Yes.
Seems we are once again at an impasse. The lasgun turns on the door you came in through and blasts the wall, causing the whole thing to cave in.
There's no need to lose your temper.
It's fine. The Emperor will protect him. He can take it.
I mean, he's got a Rosarius. He's got a 4-up Pimp, or whatever they call it in this game.
Yeah. He has got his little force field.
It's only a las cannon.
Your las cannon is naught to the flames of the Emperor.
Quite. So I understand.
I purge myself with the flames every morning. So your little display does naught for me.
No, I imagine that you are probably quite devout. Didn't suspect you'd be quite so kinky, but there you go.
I've not had a word with the ganger yet.
Did he say kinky?
Yes, he did. I have one question for you. How are you going to pay for all of this?
What, for burning heretics? I wasn't aware that it was a paid sport.
Not so much for the burning of the clientele, more for the current looting that your party is currently attempting in my warehouse.
My party is the Emperor. I only serve him.
Well, surely so the rest of them do.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, so you won't mind if I cleanse the room with holy fire, then?
A cleansing with fire is always a good choice.
You are quite devout indeed, aren't you? You're a curious little man.
I am not little.
You are from up here.
I think you'll find that I'm rather average height.
Well, I'll tell you what, perhaps we could arrange some kind of exchange. I shall let you walk out of here if you let my auctioneer walk out of there.
It is an interesting proposition, but I would like to see if he has the taint on him first. It'll only be a small operation.
An operation?
Well, not an operation, a small process.
Well, if she dies, you die.
Indeed. Well, again, the Emperor chooses that. But all I'll do is I'll give him a blast from my flamer, and if he sets alight, then he's obviously guilty.
I think you may fundamentally misunderstand the function of fire, good father.
It just cleanse the heretic.
Yes, but it also works on non-heretics. Had you noticed?
No, it is the tool of the Emperor. If it burns, it dies. It dies in the name of the Emperor. It gets cleansed in the holy flame. Such is the way.
Right. Well, why don't you come out, my dear, first? There is no sign of the auctioneer coming out from behind the lectern.
Auctioneer, could I ask you to stand up and remove your upper clothing, please?
Velquist? Still no answer.
I'll have a walk beyond the lectern.
The auctioneer is there, right the way up to a point just at the top of her nose, and then everything from there up is missing. Like it's been shredded by some kind of high velocity flechette weapon.
I'll lift the remaining head up. It seems like she's been cleansed already. The Emperor has spoken.
You don't have any Eldari with you?
No, they are Xenos, so they must be burned.
That's an Eldari kill. Very well. Let us rephrase the terms of our agreement then. Kill the Eldari and you can go free.
I think you'll find I am free.
That las cannon bears back in on you. And I'll switch back over to the warehouse, where a small, delicate piece of jewellery skitters along the ground and comes to rest in front of Julius. It looks like it's made out of some delicate bone-like material, and there's a little gem embedded in the middle of it.
Is it about to explode?
It might do.
Yeah.
But as you're looking at it, a little hologram flickers into being above it. It's a slightly smaller version of an Eldari than you're used to. Not that you're particularly used to them. This one appears to be about 4 feet tall and hologrammatic. It's clad in Eldari armor, has a shaved head, classic pointed ears of the race. And there's something large and heavy behind its back. You can't quite make out what.
So I've never seen an Eldari before. I definitely know looking at one is definitely heretical and will definitely get you killed. So I'm definitely going to completely ignore it. Stuff the bit of paper, the holy bit of paper, my life, into my jacket and walk past it in the direction of Sister Evelyn.
It seems to follow. It says in broken.
What the things like skitty?
No, the thing's not skittering after you, but the hologram moves to follow you.
Okay.
Greetings, humans. Please pause before attempting to kill me. I should warn you, this room is set to burn us all if we don't act together.
Mr. Battle there, you're being followed around by a tiny little man of light there. Do you see that? What?
I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
There's an almighty smash as Sister Evelyn stamps on the stone.
I'm heading for the door. I'm heading for the exit.
Slides shut. Even though it was kicked open, there's a secondary door that slides shut, trapping you within.
Sister Evelyn, you good with doors? Can I use my leadership skill?
To do what?
Well, I'm just
Lead.
doing my whole leadering.
Heroically.
Yeah. Heroic leadering. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's go with that. I think I rolled some dice for heroic leadering. Is that a bad ooh?
Yeah,
That's
something unexpected happened. That's a bad ooh.
That's okay.
That's
It's a sister of battle. She was never gonna listen to me anyway.
Facts.
What did I do? Oh, wow.
Well, she might kind of listen to you because
it's
it's in our interest to knock open a door that's shutting us in.
Yeah.
It's true. Now, the leadership skill can inspire others to do dangerous things. The difficulty of the leadership test is dependent on who you're trying to lead and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Someone who's trained in loyalty will be easier. You can remove the fear, terror, and pinned condition from them. So that will work on Sister Evelyn because she is trained to loyalty, as long as you're telling her to be loyal to something that she already believes in.
I mean, you got a lot of successes. You just also got a wrath complication. So
yeah.
So succeed with bad consequences kind of situation.
You succeed, but she stamps on your head.
Where's my gear? Where's my gear? Because I've got my symbol of authority. I
mean, it's really not going to take this much to convince Sister Evelyn to go smash.
Is it a picture of Cartman wearing sunglasses?
No, it's a big imperial symbol.
Respect my authority. Ben, while he's doing this and ordering Sister Evelyn around, she's going to assess the door. Would rocket-propelled bolt gun shells take the door out?
Maybe. I mean, it's a security door that's designed to stop people breaking into a warehouse full of treasure. So if they were well placed and took out the hinges, although it doesn't really have hinges because it's a sliding door, so you'd probably need to do something to the mechanism. So your gut tells you to go for the hinges, but it doesn't have hinges. But fortunately, that leadership role tells you to take out the mechanism, which is clearly above it.
Is Octavian in here with us?
Octavian is in there with you.
Oh, and in which case, there's somebody better placed than Sister Evelyn to deal with a door.
Affirmative.
Sister Evelyn suggests that Octavian probably would be better placed to open a locked door.
Octavian will attempt to lock.
While he does that, can the three of you who aren't doing that make an awareness check? Your target number is 6, though.
Whoa.
I can't even roll that well, so sure.
Is that a base? Do you change the base to 6?
That's a big no. And I got a wrath complication.
How do I do that? Is it base number 6? Is that what you do?
Difficulty number 6.
Difficulty number 6.
Yeah. You at least came close.
Okay, Sakar experiences some kind of weird ghosting in his vision. Like things are moving out of sync with time briefly.
Sister Evelyn, I think maybe perhaps we got a ghost in here. There's something flitting around in here. It's not the little light guy you blew up. It's something else.
And the banner is also missing.
I think the little light guy got a little irritated with you when you crushed his funny little gemstone there. Maybe.
Right, Octavian, do you want to make a tech check?
I do. On a side note, did we actually retrieve that page?
Yes. Battle has got it wedged inside his jacket at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're looking at a difficulty number 5 to get this door open with your tech skills.
I think what's wrong?
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Holy
Just upped my
cats.
tech.
You know, you can shift 2 of those 6s over to glory.
Well, he would be
Nice.
able to if your glory wasn't currently full.
That's right. We were full at the end of the last section. That's right.
Yes. But yeah, ordinarily you would be able to shift those into your glory pool. Beep, beep, beep. You pop the door, it just slides up. It was just a door. You kind of look sternly at the machine spirit and it kind of bows its head and climbs up into the door.
Now, was this door the only way in or out of this place?
It was, yes.
And Sister Evelyn's already made the assessment that the Eldari is going to attempt to escape by it, and she's going to have poured some water on the floor around. She's like, just waiting for something to step into it. This is the only way in and out.
Sister Evelyn, is it all right with you if I go outside? I mean,
Do not move.
Gonna... Yes, sister.
She's literally waiting for the Eldari. I'm
Master-
guessing the Eldari can see her waiting.
Master Julius, did we authenticate the page?
I am happy it is real. We will take the page back to the Inquisitor and then decide on our next step.
It would be logical if you showed me the piece of paper. I can authenticate it for you now.
I do not feel this place is secure. And I feel we should move to a more secure place.
Very well.
I'm going to walk through the door. I don't care about the sister or her big gun or her puddle of water.
It's more the fact you might get caught in the crossfire. That's fine.
I don't care about crossfire either.
It's the spirit.
You can't shoot me. I'm in charge. You can shoot me, but I think I'm in charge, so you can't shoot
She
me.
can shoot you, she's the sister of battle.
She can do whatever she likes, but if she
Suffer not the
shoots me-
Xenos.
If she shoots me and damages the page, right, then she can do whatever she likes because she'll be, you
Yeah,
know,
careful. You don't want to get blood on that.
she'll be like an empty suit of armor given to someone else.
Poof.
Sister of Battle job is to kill the Xenos, kill the heretic,
That's
kill the
nice,
Psyker
Jim.
and the witch.
I am leaving because I don't play by your rules. I'm a member of the Inquisition.
Sakara looks between the 2 of you. He's like,
Yeah, come on, Sakar, let's go.
What's your awareness?
all right,
Dan?
Mr. Battle. Thank you so much, sir.
That's only 2.
Yeah.
But I've got my eyes fixed on the water. I don't care about anyone else leaving.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that hidden step.
I'm staying.
Has anybody got a higher awareness than 2?
My awareness is 5.
I think Octavian. Oh no.
No, mine's 4.
Oh, there
My
we go. We'll
awareness is
use the
2.
highest one, which is Sakar's.
Oh my God. Yeah, he did pretty well. And he got a Wrath critical. That's a wily Eldari.
A few minutes later, there's been no sign of the water being disturbed. And
Xenos has left.
instead, you hear a roaring sound in the vents in the room. The crew in the cage starts frantically rattling the bars.
The crew is now dead. Suffer not the alien. And she just walks out the front door because if there's going to be fire, either the Dari's left and it's going to get burnt to a crisp, or it's not left. Who knows? We'll go chasing. Octavian found a way to track it anyway, so she's going to ask Octavian to find it again.
So as
If-
you walk
yeah.
out through the door, these columns of flame come belting down out of the vents in the warehouse room, bathing pretty much everything still in there.
if Octavian could show emotion, he would be looking mournfully at the dead crew in there, thinking, "Oh, he would have really have liked to have got his hands on that corpse."
Yeah.
So it's better to study it and know your enemy and better ways of killing it.
Sakara's he's like, I thought for sure. I mean, I had heard that that the recruits were Imperial mercenaries, so I thought they were okay. What was it? What do you call them, Sister Evelyn? Xenars?
Xenos, suffer not the alien.
But even the alien that already is working for the Emperor?
No aliens truly work for the Emperor.
You got some very complicated rules, but I'm just trying to understand. You understand? Please don't take offense. If I'm going to work for you guys, I need to understand what your rules are.
The rules are simple, Sakar. Suffer not the alien, the mutant, the heretic, or the witch.
Right now, witch, that's the Psyche thing, right?
Sakar, you would do well to remember these things, for if the Father hears you speak of them, he will not think twice about burning you. I am far more merciful.
That's why I'm asking you, sister, because I mean, I hear that like the astropaths, they're psychics, right? Are they witches?
They are sanctioned by the Emperor.
Oh, all right. Now, navigators navigators are mutants, though, right? I mean, I saw a holodrama about that. They got the big third eye in their head.
That is true. The navigators do have the third eye, and that is the only reason why they are tolerated.
But they are tolerated, even though they're mutants.
They are chosen by the Emperor to guide us through the darkness of the warp and through the demon places where we would be taken and destroyed. They are our eye.
So if the Emperor says it's okay, a mutant's okay, and psychos or witches okay,
as long as the Emperor bids it so.
But the crew, they're mercenaries working for the Emperor, right? So if he said they were okay,
did the Emperor give him their contract? No, he did not.
I don't know. I'm asking you. I've never seen the Emperor. I haven't met the man. I'm sure he's very nice. I hear he's got a big golden throne.
Be careful, Sakar. You mock.
I don't mock.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's all I know.
Sister Evelyn stomps off. She's not happy with this conversation at all.
Are you heading back to the warehouse, to the auction room?
No, to the lifts where we were told to go.
Yeah, we got what we
That's
need. Let's
back
get out
through
there.
the auction room, though.
Yeah.
Okay, then yes. If that's back through the auction room, then yes, back through the
So you
auction
get to
yeah.
the door of the auction room, and Father Majestus is stood there, staring down a las cannon up in the ceiling. You see it as soon as you walk in, and there's a light on 4 stories up, right near the ceiling, with a humanoid figure silhouetted.
Excellent. Father Majestus, we must make our leave. Just ignoring the fact that there's a las gun pointing at us and so on and so forth.
Yes, it seems that the friends of the heretics are sticking their noses in where they're not wanted.
Can I talk to the silhouetted figure?
Yeah, of course you can.
At this auction, you had a page from a book. I'm from the Inquisition, and I would greatly like to see the other pages from this book. I would happily meet to discuss your reparations for this.
See, now that's a much more reasonable way of approaching this kind of conversation. We were just discussing reparations, the good father and myself. His conceptual understanding of quid pro quo and reciprocal arrangements extends about as far as setting things on fire.
The issue the Inquisition faces is sometimes people ask far too many questions, and it's easier just to burn them after the first one
Quite.
than to get into an in-depth conversation with them, Sakar.
Now, as I understand it, the Inquisition can be reasonably tolerable under the right circumstances of working with those it might otherwise deem unfavorable, should the price be appropriate.
This is certainly not a conversation to be had in the presence of someone with a flamer and Sister Evelyn.
You can see her like buffeting around her in her armor. She's not happy about this conversation in any way, shape, or form. Because the Inquisition is an arm of the Emperor, and they should be doing no wrong.
Yeah.
Understandably so. Well, would you care to come up for a cup of tea?
I'd be very happy to come and meet you.
Just
Actually,
you
I'm
and
not
the
happy
boy.
about you going into a private room to discuss something that me and the sister wouldn't like to hear.
I will turn around and approach Octavian. I will take out the page from my jacket and hand it to Octavian.
Thank you, sir.
And then I shall say, we will meet you back at the elevator.
You won't be able to go that way, I'm afraid. I've rather destroyed the entire wall.
Oh, you mean they can't go the way?
No, they can't go back to the elevator. And as you look over at the side where you came in,
Yeah.
it has been laser cannoned to oblivion.
Okay.
Can we kill them?
Worry
now?
not, though. There is a path up just beyond the warehouse that you've just left, or a path down if you take the opposite direction out of the exit. I'm sure you'll find another route on one of the other floors.
And you wish to meet?
I will meet with you,
Okay.
but just you, possibly the boy, if you fear to meet me alone. I'm sure your colleagues would probably wish to burn me alive on sight.
I'll go up to the sister and say, they're taking the young boy with him. We can break him within seconds and find out what's going on.
Sakaar looks at the father and he's like, Mr. Julius Battle there, sir. I think I'm going to stick down here. I don't think you need me up there. You're going to be fine. Inquisition, go team.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, Sakaar.
No?
No,
Are you sure, Mr. Battle? Because I've got some
Absolutely.
concerns about.
you don't need to have any concerns.
Oh, all right, sir. Whatever you say. I mean, you're paying the bills. You work for the
Exactly.
boss, so I'll go where you tell me to go.
An elevator door opens.
Okay, I'll approach the elevator door and say, "We will meet you at the elevator," as in the big one, because we'll get there somehow, and we'll go up.
All right, so the two of you climb into this elevator and go up to a meeting with the mysterious Floggestone. Meanwhile, Tweaky,
Vox speed open.
Captain Bernie, and Sister Killamall, what do you three want to do?
I'm
gonna. No, go on, Jimmy first.
I'm happy just to just wait and question the young boy when they're finished.
I want to authenticate this page.
Okie dokie. Right, so what have you got that you could use to authenticate it? There's insight.
Well, you mentioned that the book was on. It was on a type of biology, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could I make a medic roll?
Do you know, there are lots of rolls you could make that could give you pointers on this. So if you want to make a Medicaid roll, that is absolutely fine.
Because it was like almost like a Nurgle type thing, wasn't
It
it?
absolutely
that was
was.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do scholar.
You could do scholar, you could do insight, you could do Medicaid. Each one will give you something different.
Well, Medicaid's the best, so I'll do that. Can I spend some points? Glory, yeah. I'll take a point of glory. There we go.
Okay, wow. Yes, this is medical knowledge beyond anything that you have received training in. This shows a depth of understanding in mutant biology that transcends anything that would be considered acceptable at present in the Empire.
Heretic.
I mean, it does border on heresy because there's so much detail there. Knowing this much Nurgle biology can't be good for you.
It was an autopsy of a plague bearer, wasn't it?
Plague bearer, yeah.
Plague bearer. Very fascinating.
Can you also make a conviction roll at +2?
Yeah.
Because I remembered, because you're right there with Sister Evelyn.
What does conviction come under? Sorry.
Conviction is under notes.
Notes.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
Under combat,
Combat.
third column over.
Yeah.
conviction. Oh Christ, I've got conviction of 1.
You can use glory. Use a point of glory to add a die. We've got plenty.
Is it for corruption or mutation?
It's for corruption.
I will take
You've got to be corrupted before you can mutate.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I'll take another die, please. There we go.
So your target number is 5.
Heresy.
Oh dear.
Oh, gain 2 corruption and 1 rune added. Wow. That's a
Dark
rough roll.
Mechanicum, here I come.
You didn't use the 2 extra dice from Sister Evelyn. You got 2 more dice. For I am purity of faith.
He also rolled it at DN3 instead of DN5. So
It wouldn't have mattered, would it?
even if we assume that they were both a success.
Oh, wait a second. If we're going to play, we're going to do that. Then I shall do consecrated light. I shall use a faith point to present my holy symbol. And any allies of the Imperium keyword within 15 meters gain another double rank bonus dice to any fear or corruption rolls. So he gets 4 more dice.
All right then.
I shall
so
give
you're
him many dice and many
you're making a
ways to-
difficulty 5 roll
You need 4
with
more dice.
+4 +5 from the glory that you've already done.
So you need to get 4 successes on 4 dice.
We got it because you got 3 successes on the second roll for 1 success on the first roll. But he got the wrath complication, so you still get double corruption.
Now the corruption points that you get for this. Oh, hang on, let me look up corruption points because I think I have to roll them. Car. 285.
Wait, is that right? Because on my character sheet it just shot up to 6.
That's too high. That's because it's added them from both
Okay,
levels.
what should it be?
rolls.
So your
2.
corruption should be. So you gain 4 corruption, just 4, not 6. So the 2 that you got before don't count. So it's 4 corruption that you get, and I need to take the ruin back down. There we go. That's the ruin and glory sorted out. So yes, that's reading a tome of chaotic law, I'm afraid.
You say chaotic law, I say inspiration.
Yeah, well, quite. So
You would as you turn to the chaos side.
Yeah, imagine how well I'll be able to do like cybernetics with a better understanding of like the biology of a demon.
whenever
Okay.
your corruption level increases, you must immediately make a mutation test. So to make a mutation test, roll your conviction against the difficulty of 3 modified by your corruption level.
I think it's only if his corruption level goes up. He's still corruption level 0.
You're still corruption level 0. You're still pure. Oh,
For
yes,
one
you
more-
are still pure.
for
One more and
corruption
you wouldn't
point.
be.
Right,
So you're
okay.
making a difficulty 3.
Can't we
He
just
Conviction
randomly
test.
do it?
He doesn't have to make the mutation test, only if he actually goes up to corruption level 1.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, your corruption level. Yeah, you're right. You don't have to make a mutation test. I'm a bad person.
Can't we just pretend he is?
Yes, but what about the game?
So you're not mutating into a Dark Mechanicus just yet.
Oh, I don't want to.
Give it time.
Spoil sport.
Well, at least
But
we know
yes,
the
you are
pages
pretty
real.
sure that the Medicae on this page alone is beyond anything that would be allowed in the Empire. Dan, other one? Do you want to do anything?
No, I was busy praying with my holy symbol, giving everyone
That's
extra
true, you
faith.
were. And Jim?
I'm just merely standing there watching everything. I am using the Emperor's eyes to gather information.
Very well. I will switch over to the other two, Sakaar and Julius, as they ride the elevator up to a small box-like lounge that's been... Clearly, this room was once some kind of control room. There is still a control desk up at the front of the room, and you can see a window that looks out over what you believe to be the auction room that you were in earlier. There are a couple of dirty couches and a half-assed kitchen along one wall. There's a sleeping cot in there, a large safe, and a cage that's got some kind of massive lizard thing in there, the size of a very heavy set Great Dane.
When I exit the elevator, I shall use my fashionista skill. I shall swish out of the elevator. I shall appear. I will be flamboyant in my, which basically says I get bonuses to my social interactions, but for just looking good.
Yeah, well, you look very cool.
Well,
and as you swish and sashay your way into the room, you become aware of the person who stood over by the control panel.
Yeah.
A tall, gaunt, hooded figure. You can see the glint of metal inside their hood.
Yeah.
And they've got very long, thin, bony fingers that comes out of their sleeves on the robe.
Human or...
They're unnaturally tall for a human, nearly 8 feet tall.
Right, okay.
But they do appear to be and sound as though they are human.
It's not a vox.
There is no
noise.
vox there, no.
No.
There's none of that metallic ting to it.
And this is, I'm trying to remember what his name is now.
Floggestone.
Floggestone.
Gentlemen, welcome. Glad you could join me for this conversation. Can I get you a drink?
Not for me, thank you. Well met, Floggestone.
Well, here's hoping. There is an option here for great gain for both your investigations and my business, should we play our cards right.
Well, you have two choices. Either you make money or the Emperor's wrath will fall upon this entire level and probably the levels above it and below it.
Well,
and everything will
above
burn.
and below would be little concern to me. However, I've made a good life for myself here, and it seems a shame to let it go to waste. So let's talk. Presumably you have something you want. I know I have several things I want. We just need to establish a baseline for price on who gets what they want.
I require every page from the book. That's the page you put in the auction today.
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of actual pages themselves, I was lucky to come across that one. I can point you in the right direction where you may be able to come by more, but I myself have no further pages. I prefer not to deal in items that could be deemed heretical. For obvious reasons, it wouldn't do to call the Inquisition down on my business, for instance.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it didn't do you too well today.
Quite. And that's why I'm sure you can appreciate I wish to salvage as much as possible from this encounter as I possibly can.
Yes.
Whereas you appear to be particularly driven in your quest for this book.
Many people are driven, and this book is my route to success, power, influence. Did I say everything out loud? Oh, I think I did.
I'll have to say I'm not surprised that those are the things that seem to drive you, since those are all the things that matter in the universe that we're in. And as I say, I'm willing to support that endeavor if you are prepared to make certain allowances on my behalf.
And what allowances are these?
At beginning, I plan on walking out of here alive.
Yeah.
That would be my first goal, obviously. Secondly, I wish this level to be left alone. Just let me carve out my little fiefdom in peace. It won't impact the upper levels. Life will go on. I am barely more than a baron in the grand scheme of things, just seeking to carve out my own little fiefdom.
I have not heard anything I cannot agree to.
Splendid, splendid. Obviously, with the loss of the Kroot, and I don't really tend to prefer dealing in livestock anyway. There are a number of material goods that I'm in possession of that I wish to continue to maintain and perhaps sell onwards. Nothing that would inconvenience you too much. It's unlikely that it'll ever see anything higher than the 200th level.
I failed to hear the question. You wish to continue selling your goods?
I want to keep my stuff and my business intact. I want to be left alone.
I have no reason to think that the group I'm with will do anything other than continue in our mission to find the pages.
Excellent.
Well, that's as long as the sister doesn't get up here and take a look at you. No offense, Lord Floggestone, but me personally, I'm one of Fagin Twist's boys, so I'm from deep under hive. But that sister and the father there, they might take one look at you and decide that you're one of their three big no-nos. I'm still trying to figure all that out. So I would definitely not go down to say goodbye, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I can understand quite. Well, let me point you in the right direction for continuing your little quest, and then perhaps you'll make your way out of here and we can go our separate ways. Perhaps we won't see one another again. How well do you know the system?
The system as in
Gilead system.
Fairly well.
Good. That will.
I am highborn.
That will certainly speed things up slightly. My contact for this particular page dwells out in the wastes here on Gilead Primus. As to whether they have any further pages, I don't know. But there is a skeleton, I suppose, of one of the great desert beasts. About probably a month on foot, less if you have some kind of vehicle. A trader, he rarely comes in from the desert. When he does, he always brings something terribly interesting. One or two little items that he brought with him that I'm quite fond of. You can find him out there. There's a base of sorts inside the skeleton of one of these great beasts out in the desert. He lives there. The skull is a an inn or tavern of sorts, I suppose.
Okay.
Rough crowd. Tough
And
people.
in which direction in the wastes?
If you head in, let me think, what's the name of that hive? If you were heading from here, and you were making your way let me see. Yes. Do you know Anval? The ore
Yeah.
plant.
Okay.
If you keep Anval on your left and head towards the setting sun, you should reach it, as I say, in a month on foot. Quicker if you have a vehicle.
Okay. Well, I thank you for this information.
Lord Floggestone, my ears, they don't always hear so good. Did you give us the name of the trader we're supposed to be looking for?
Praxis.
Praxis.
At this time, I think we were leaving.
Well, you'll forgive me for saying it, but I hope we never meet again.
Absolutely. So we'll leave. I had that little moment where I had to think whether I was going to shoot him or not. I'm like, I'm like, yeah, no.
Sakara said they're going, please don't shoot him. Please don't shoot him. Sakara's like, yeah, Mr. Battle, I think it's a good, I think this is a good deal, Mr. Battle. I think, who knows, we might need at some point in the future, to come back to Mr. Floggestone. I mean, heaven forbids either one of you, but what if we had to come back and ask about some other contact? So I think it's best we leave a mutually friendly situation.
I shall turn on my heels with a swish of my coat and head back towards the elevator. I know
You're
it's
a canny
only
young man.
I know it's only like 3 feet, but
Sakara is shaking his head. He's like, I'm sorry there, Lord Floggestone. They're for sure going to get me killed, but it's the only way I got to maybe get off this, out of the hive. So
No, I understand. A boy's got to do what a boy's got to do. Well, should you see Fagin, do pass on my regards and best of luck. I see you have an interesting future ahead of you.
I tell you what, sir, I'm going to stay very far clear of Mr. Fagin because you and I both know about his particular mutanthood. So, the sister and the father, they've already made it pretty clear that if you've even got an extra finger, they're going to, do some very nasty things to you. So I think I'm just going to mum's the word on Mr. Fagin and just try to get these guys out of the hive as fast as possible.
Very wise, very wise. Well, best of luck to you, dear boy.
Thank you, sir.
I'll wait till you get back in the
He gets in the elevator. He's like, well, that went pretty well, right, Mr. Battle? I mean, I think dropping Fagin Twist's name there helped grease the wheels a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah,
So
I think
maybe I can go keep going with the team outside of the hive? I've never been outside of the hives, Mr. Battle.
Well, if you didn't stay with us, we'd have to kill you. So I think you are a part of the team now.
I think I would very much like to volunteer to stay with you then, Mr. Battle, because I don't want to get killed. But I will tell you this, if for some reason you're going to have to kill me at some point, please just you do it with a laser pistol from behind or something, because I don't want the father to burn me alive. That was smells so bad. I'm not gonna lie, sir. I wet myself when he flamers on the people. I'm so afraid.
It's pretty nasty stuff. Well,
So the lift doors open again, and there's Father Majestus stood there
Yeah.
with that look in his eyes.
Oh, Father, how you doing, sir?
Hello, my young friend. Are you ready to come and have some solitary time with me?
I think Mr. Battle's got some things for me to do, but I think he can brief us everybody on what we found out. It was all good stuff, sir.
I have a mission for Sakar.
Ah, then maybe we can spend some time together alone tonight.
Father, I mean,
In
it
the
could
light of-
happen. It absolutely could. I mean, I'm a big for the Emperor and his light.
Father, I'm sure Sakar Rez will inform us of all the things that have happened, but we need to return to the Inquisitor. We have the information we were sent down here for.
Absolutely.
So are we going to go down a level? Are we going to go up a level? There are choices.
Well, if we go down a level, there's a not so bad, but we go back up a level. Well, I don't know. We just kind of wiped out that whole gang, so it may not be that. Might be kind of quiet up level at this right now. I think I know a way to get us up there.
Yeah.
So can I make a? Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Can I make a cunning roll to find a route back? That'll trace us
Yeah,
back
absolutely.
to the. All right. Can I use a point of glory? Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
What's the difficulty number, Ben?
If you know you're going to go up and you've already been told part of the way to go, 3 will do it.
All right. 3 successes.
Lucky.
Skin of the teeth.
So yeah, you've got to go past the warehouse again, and then there's a staircase. It says stair. You know, you hear the word staircase, you think, oh, it's a flight of stairs. But this is a staircase in a hive city, so this is potentially a day's worth of climbing. There'll be towns on the stairs. Uh-oh, ghost.
Ghost on the stairs.
Ghost in the chat. Bam. Banhammer. So yeah, there's a staircase. There's a hive staircase. So you start climbing and you're walking upstairs and through narrow, cramped corridors. There's moss and fungus growing on outlets and walls, but you can see like there's dull metal behind it. Everybody's got that kind of hopeless look in their eyes. People who are living on the stairs are the people that couldn't even cut it, living on an entire floor. The further up you go, the more barricades you come across. And the barricades are all pointing further up the stairs. Fewer and fewer people as you get higher and higher up. It's getting quite late. As you finish climbing, you come up the floor. You arrive at floor 316. The first thing that confronts you when you reach floor 316 is a sealed and welded shut airlock that has the crucified skinless remains of 2 people bolted to the front of it. And a little pile of human skulls on the floor.
Well, it looks like we found the right place. I mean, I think, yeah, we should be good to go here. Right, sister?
Sure. Octavian, would you do us the honors of removing that welding and opening this door?
Indeed. Can I actually
Big
get
talker is
past this
Octavian.
welded door?
Loads of social skills.
Tekra?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ugly weld. What sort of tools do you have? Is it just a regular toolkit?
Yeah. My regular toolkit and my servo arms and stuff are the
Servo
ones.
arm. Oh, you got mechadendrites, not servo
That's the
arm.
one. That's the one.
Mechadendrites.
Mechadendrites.
I mean, the
Mechadendrites,
mechadendrites will probably still be good enough to shift a shoddily welded door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I opened the door.
Yeah, I think it could probably be argued that you make it through the door with that. And so you
As Julius goes through, I'll pass him back the parchment for his safekeeping.
I'll put
The
it back
sister
in
would take
mine.
point because obviously this is now a dangerous area.
And Sakar, being the brave young ganger that he is, would be somewhere in the middle so that there's people around him on all sides.
Near the father.
oh God, where's the most dangerous place?
It's like, am I better off? Am I better off near the father, or am I better off?
I think the most dangerous place at the moment is probably by the father.
I think so too.
Those of you that don't have the benefit of like full face covering helmets with breathing filters, the smell that assaults your nostrils is beyond unpleasant. It's got the coppery tang and the charnel stench of a butchery.
Okay.
And there are blood stains on the floors, on the walls, crude graffiti with obscene sigils to evil godlings painted on the walls in blood.
See, Father, I told you those guys are heretics, right? I mean, this is definitely, I got that right? I mean, that's all very heretical, right?
So you know them, yes?
No, I knew that they were bad guys. I never talked to none of them. I told you to burn them. Remember? That's them.
So if I was to ask you, Sicarius, what have you done to solve the problem?
I told you about the problem and you solved it.
No.
He is
Because
correct, Father.
you're the emperor, you're the agent of the emperor, and I thought who
ah.
better to do it than you, Father?
I will pull a shiny little mirror from out of my pocket. Have a look into that, Sicarius.
That's ooh. I did not realize I was quite that ugly. I don't think I've ever seen my face before in a clean mirror.
That person is responsible for distributing the Emperor's light.
See, I learn something new every day, Father. That's fantastic. I will distribute the Emperor's light from now on. Thank you, Father.
So, if I was to ask you tomorrow, what have you done about this situation, you would answer,
I distributed the Emperor's light, of course.
in what way?
I don't know, but I'll know by tomorrow because I mean I haven't done it yet, but I'll definitely do it.
Do you have a box of firelighters?
No, Father. Those are pretty pricey down here.
And do you have a can of fuel?
No, Father. I don't have that. It's also very expensive. I've got a canteen with only one hole in it and a bedroll, and then I got my rusty knife. That's about it, Father.
The rusty knife would do good. So to take your rusty knife to the throat of the heretic.
Right, Father. The next heretic I run across today, I will take my rusty knife to his throat for the Emperor's light, just like you told me to do, Father.
And make sure you stab a rather rusty hole in their neck.
Right, Father. That's Emperor's mercy, right, Father? That's what they call that.
Mercy
Yes.
and death.
Right, exactly. Sakar is terrified and moves cautiously away from the father.
Okie dokie. So you walk into this enclosed space that seems to be the entryway to level 316.
I'll turn to Octavian and say, When you get to a suitable place that you can, we can broadcast onto this level, let me know.
Right, could everybody make an awareness check?
God.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is just 3.
Man. We got a wrath complication.
So what's that?
Yeah, I failed as
Jim
well.
succeeded, Dan succeeded, and Simon succeeded, but Aaron got a wrathful complication.
He's not stood next to Jim again, is he?
And Dan M did not succeed.
Sakar is so terrified of the father that all he can do is watch what the father's doing because he's completely terrified that he's going to do something to him.
So those of you who do pass, you can hear figures moving around you, like quietly, like ambush predators, people shaking loose sharp objects, not clean sharp objects. There's no glint of metal.
Sister Evan just goes fist up again, like she did in the alleyway as they approached the auction.
Can I go? Can I
Sakar,
go?
Sakar bounces right off her back again.
From underneath the sister's arm that has been put up, I will let a furious blast of fire to light up the dark.
That's what heroes do.
God, I'm wearing ceramite power armor.
So as the flames of Father Majestus's flamer light up the darkness, a bunch of ragged, gaunt, scruffy-looking scum are revealed in the light of the flame. And as they see you, they leap forwards, clutching bits of metal wrapped in cloth, steel bars, any kind of makeshift weapon they can do. They're all covered in like scars and dirt and injuries. They've got bits of metal forced through their flesh. They're a mess, all of them.
It's going to get worse from in a second, isn't it?
But they are going to try and shiv you up.
Initiative
crap.
them.
Now, initiative. How do we do initiative in this again?
We basically take their highest initiative and our highest initiative, isn't
That's
it?
true, you do,
Yep.
don't you? Well,
And then
their
it goes
highest
back and forth,
initiative is 3.
I'm free.
I'm 4.
I'm 1.
I'm 2.
Oh, initiative. I'm 2.
Okay, it looks
So-
like Sakar's going first then.
The way it works is we elect. So
Yeah.
it's our party to go first.
All right, your party to go first then.
and then it alternates. So we choose who goes first for our party, and then so on and so forth.
Okay, crack on. Who's going first?
Who is going first? I wonder.
I'm assuming it's the father, but because or the sister. I mean, it's not Sakar, that's for sure.
I'm going to assume it's Sister Evelyn, unless Jim says specifically he wants to go first to do something very cool.
I'm just going to burn the fuckers, so whatever you want to do, really.
What range are they at currently, Ben? Are they close or are they a bit further?
They are
afield?
close. You're in close quarters with everybody. It's really tight.
Okay.
I
in
mean,
which
bolts may not even be the best idea. You're
bolts
that
are always
close.
bolts are always the best idea. Don't even say that. That's a holy weapon of the Emperor. Cool. Then I shall, as my first action, divine guidance myself. So I shall reach up, give a prayer to the Emperor, and then bring my bolter down. I give myself double rank bonus to my ballistic skill. So I get.
You
We're-
can have
we're-
triple rank bonus because you're currently carrying Saint's Bones.
Oh, I am currently. Oh my God! That's beautiful. That is, isn't it? And then I'm going to unleash my bolt gun at point blank range. And this is where it gets really nasty. It's a dice pool, so I will get 6 additional dice.
Oh my God.
And let's see what happens there. Kablamo, 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 kablamo. And because we are in a rapid fire range, it fires off our salvo multiple shots. So I can hit 2 targets as they come in close.
Okay.
I'm assuming 5 gets past the defense value.
Their defense value is 2.
Cool. Then I shall roll my damage. So 2 targets take 10 damage.
As I said, bolts at this kind of close range is definitely overkill. You're finding that the bolts are actually exploding once they've left the bodies again.
That's fine. There's more to come.
It's, just utterly obliterates your first 2 targets. They're ripped apart and organs and body parts go flying in all directions.
And then Sister Evelyn, as a sort of move, will position herself between the oncoming charge and Sakar Rez, because I'm assuming he was next closest, sort of behind him with the father.
Unfortunately,
you were gonna
Sakar
kneel
got a
down.
wrath complication, which means he's getting juked up first.
Of course.
I'm hoping that you're going to kneel down so I could climb on top of you and jump off your shoulders, but it doesn't matter.
As we've learned before, Jim, those kind of tactics do not work.
Well, we didn't have the Emperor backing us up before.
So yes, Ben, it's you to go next.
Okay, so there's going to
Hey,
be some
hold on.
stabbing.
Before Sakar gets stabbed, can I spend a point of glory to seize the initiative and keep it for Jim to or for me to do something if somebody's moved in with me?
Yes, we can.
You
use a glory
can.
point.
And if
That's
you
great.
would like, Aaron, Sakar currently has available to him the biomancy discipline powers of warp speed, phantom form, or regeneration, if you think one of them might be useful to him. They can be found on page 272 of the main rulebook. Warp speed, you basically get fast speed. Phantom form, you become a wispy phantom-like figure and can pass through solid objects. And regeneration does exactly what it says in the tin.
Okay, so since I don't have any psychic abilities, is this just activating through the device?
The first time you use it, it activates with no activation cost. So you get a baseline success.
I think so. I'm assuming Sakar is aware of this, but
Nope, not a clue.
Nope, not a
It
clue.
will
It's just going to happen.
activate if he's scared enough or desperate enough, it will activate to defend him.
Okay, then yeah, I think I would probably warp speed makes sense. He sees this guy coming in and he judders and shifts into this hyper speed and gets to take 2 actions.
Yep.
But he'll take 1d3 plus 1 shock if he tries to sustain it past the first round. Okay, so he sees this guy coming, and then everything seems to slow down for Sakar as he jitters into this fast frame movement. And he takes his rusty knife, and you hear him scream out, "For the Emperor's light, father!" and tries to stab this guy twice. So weapon skill. Difficulty number you said was 2 for their defense?
Yes, for their defense, weapon the difficulty number is 2.
Okay. Well, I got 4 successes, so I'm going to shift 1 to damage, but I did get a wrath complication as well, so maybe my knife breaks. I don't know.
I think we'll take the shock straight away
Okay,
from sustaining because you're not used to having this.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so I will roll damage. What the? Oh, there's the damage. Sorry. So he takes 3 plus 5, 8 damage.
Yowza. So you do indeed stab him in the throat, but because you're moving at double speed, your stab in the throat takes his head clean off.
Ooh,
This
that's
guy
nice.
comes like looming out of the shadows as though he's going to grab you, and you just sort of sidestep, head stab.
So I take 2 points of shock for that. Is there another guy within range?
There's a throwable range. You could fling a dagger at someone.
I've
Well,
just got
actually,
the
you've got
one
super
knife.
speed, so yes, you could step and engage.
Okay, so Sakar, I mean, still freaked out by the fact that nobody is basically moving around him, will step up and try to stab somebody else. Once again, saying, "For the Emperor, Father!" And let's not roll a wrath complication this time. I mean, it's only been every single time. Oh, a wrath critical instead. So 8 successes. I'll shift. I'll shift 2 of those over to extra damage, but it's a crit, so I got to roll 2d6, right?
Yep.
So that is a 61 on the crit table, which is unspeakable carnage. Target suffers an additional 1d3 plus 3 mortal wounds.
Jeez.
So he takes 6 additional mortal wounds.
So
And
after beheading the first one, you kind of duck down under the sister, step up to the other side of her, and bring the blade up, bisecting someone who was like slavering at the mouth, about to start chewing on the ceramite.
Clearly blessed by the Emperor's glory.
Just bisected completely straight up the middle.
And
And none of the blood even
covered in
goes
blood.
on you because
Oh,
as you're
fantastic.
moving, the blood kind of goes sideways past you.
Sakar looks back at the father, gives him the thumbs up. Father, the Emperor, the Emperor's lights within me, Father.
Okay, so then maybe one of the bad guys can have a go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless anybody else wants to spend glory to steal the
We
initiative.
can only do it once.
You can only do it once. Okay, so that's 6 successes to body check Sister Evelyn.
Yeah, that's fine. It goes past my defense.
And a critical.
Okay, so that's 6 damage.
Nope.
Nope.
Resilience 9. Even with the AP -1, my resilience was still bad.
It's not rolling the critical hit thing, so let me roll that separate. 16.
16 is headshot. Target suffers 1d3 wounds and is staggered. And critical injuries bypass resilience.
Can I use my shock to absorb that?
Yes, I believe you can.
I don't remember how to use shock. Do I just roll dice? Do I?
No, hold on. Critical hits that don't exceed the target's resilience instead inflict 1 wound, but no other effect. So it's just
Okay.
1 wound.
So it's
Okay.
just 1 wound.
So I just use 1 shock to absorb that, can't I?
You roll determination, and if you get a success, the number of successes you get, you can shift over.
Are you sure you don't want me to do surgery on your brain first?
Oh, I don't. How do I not pass with a 5 and a 6?
You did. You passed. I don't know why I didn't. So you get
Maybe
one
because
shock
you haven't
Yeah,
got any
I-
wounds registered yet.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, in which case I go down to 3 shock.
So this knife blade stops right by your eyeball, goes in through the lens of your helmet and stops right in front of your eyeball, which is a slightly shocking experience. Who's going next?
I'll go next.
Got to be the Father Majestus, right?
Go on, Majestus.
I am going to burn the one that the young boy stood next to.
A bisected one.
Yeah.
One that's already dead.
And when I've got, and when I've basically burned it, I'm going to stare at the young boy.
And Sakar smiles back at him with his bloody knife. He's like, I did exactly what you told me to do.
But basically, I'm going to burn it and try and give young Sicarius a bit of a tan without hurting him.
Please
What
don't
do I
get a
do?
wrath critical.
Right.
I'm not going to make you roll because you're shooting a guy who's already dead.
Okay.
So yeah. You cauterize what's left of the wound. Sister Evelyn is kind of painted, but you've cauterized the wound.
What a waste of material.
It's now over to you, Ben.
It is. So the next one is going to try and go for Sakaar. Is that enough to?
Barely. With my warp speed enacted, my defense is pretty high. But no, you definitely you crushed my soul. You got past my defense and hit me with a critical. This is going to be ugly.
Okay, so there's your damage. And your critical is a 13.
Headshot, suffer 1d3 wounds and is staggered. Hold on, I gotta check my resilience though. My resilience, you did not get past my resilience, so I take 1 wound from the critical.
Is that with AP -1?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was only 1 wound anyway that I rolled, luckily.
Oh, okay. But I'm not staggered.
But you're not staggered, which is the important consideration here.
So I took 6 damage, 7 damage. I will. I'll see about shifting some of that to shock. Oh no! Wait a second. My resilience is 6, and it's a damage minus your resilience, right? So I took 1 wound. I'll shift that over. Try to shift it.
Okay, Julius.
So I will step forward and I will basically brush my jacket to one side, flashing my inquisitorial symbol as I reach for my combat shotgun, raising it with a big smile, ching, ching, and then fire my combat shotgun in a very leader-like way with that whole kind of power stance. Well, and I'm definitely going to use glory. I was going to use glory, but I don't need glory, I suppose.
That is a very definite hit.
I've hit. Right, roll damage. I assume for roll damage, you just roll damage.
Yep, just press the button. 9 points of damage. Your shotgun blast takes one of these scum right in the chest and launches them backwards down the corridor into the darkness. Or what would be darkness if it wasn't lit up by the flaming scum stood next to Sister Evelyn.
And as he flies backwards, I shall say, all before us, beware the Inquisition.
What a show, the Inquisition.
Nobody expects us.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, while they're still in attacky mode,
Do they not have to do the whole running away thing?
they're going to do the whole running away thing, but it hasn't got to the end of the go yet.
Okay.
They're absolutely cheesing it in a minute. Does 2 successes get past your armor, Julius?
He's past his defense rating first.
Past your defense rating.
Oh yeah, defense 1. I have defense 1, resilience 7.
Okay, so
I only have defense 1. Why do I have defense 1?
Everybody has low defense. I only have defense 2. Your defense rating's always generally
what's the
right,
damage on a mono knife then? It's
6 AP -1.
damage is 8. So it says 8 for damage on a mono knife.
That's the base damage. If it has extra dice, it'll tell you how many dice to roll. So
Right, okay, so there's 1 extra dice.
You've been rolling a mono knife on the thing, though, haven't you?
I have, yeah. And it's been a bit rubbish.
Yeah, I'm only wearing a flat cloak.
There we go. So it's damage 7.
Okay. So my resilience is 7.
but it's AP1,
No,
so
it takes down a point of your armor. So your resilience would then become 6.
Okay.
There you go.
So you take a point of damage.
So I take, so is that 1 wound?
it's 1 wound, or you can roll your determination and shift it over to shock instead.
Oh no, I'm definitely taking a wound.
Ben, I just need to deploy for 10 minutes. Won't be long.
No worries, mate. And then Dan M.
Octavius will be looking around for someone to experiment on / I actually mean heal. So if anyone's got any wounds that need healing, that's what I'll be doing in the combat. I'm not gonna...
Sakar and Julius have both been injured.
I shifted my injury over to
You did. You
to
shifted it all
shock.
over to shock. Julius is injured.
So
I'm
I
injured.
will try and attempt to heal Julius.
It's a heroic-looking scar.
Yeah. Make it look good. Yeah.
I'll make
Still
it look
heroic.
Staples.
good. I'm not actually sure what the...
It should be a Medicare roll, but you should get bonuses
is.
for your mechadendrites.
I do. So let me find my...
Is this,
Oh,
like
well,
is this like a scene out of the Beastmaster where he basically walks up behind me with his cloak and goes, some
No, it's a little
green-
bit more upsetting than that because he's got mechadendrites. So he
The
walks up behind
tentacles.
you and creepy tentacles reach over.
So a mechadendrite functions as a medkit diagnoster and gives me a +1 bonus to Medicaid checks.
There you go.
So
Use glory, yeah.
I can use a glory as well.
You have
That's
no idea how
complication.
good he is at this.
So
No,
that
I
will
do.
ta-
Accidentally popped your brain.
So you can't. Well, I don't
There
think
you
you can. I don't think you can heal during combat. I think you can only do it during a regroup action. So like when we rest for an hour.
I'll be.
A Space Marine apothecary can. Why wouldn't
Well,
you,
maybe. Yeah, I don't.
We'll let it fly for now. We can
I-
check that later.
I succeeded.
1, 2,
Damn,
3,
you've gone
4,
blue.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 nuts. I'm sure all 8.
You spray his face with super glue.
I'll make that skull look extra sharp.
Yeah.
Right now, he looks like he's walked off the set of The Purge. He's got so much glue on his face, you could mistake it for a mask. And as quickly as the attack started, it ends with the remaining scum fleeing down the tunnel before
being
you,
shot in the back?
getting shot in the back. I won't make you roll to shoot them in the back if you want to continue doing so.
Yeah,
You
she
kill
knows
about
more.
another half dozen of them.
Drops a clip out, puts a new clip in.
Sister, since the father's in prayer, I mean, you saw that, right? You saw the emperor. He moved through me, and I was able to. I'm not even a good fighter, sister, but clearly, the father told me to stab him, and I stabbed him for the emperor.
You're currently at her back, and as she turns around, there's a knife sticking out in the front of her helmet.
I did not do that, sister. That's not. This is my knife. That's not my knife.
This one looks better. And she hands it to you.
Oh, thank you, sister. That's very kind of you. Nobody's ever given me a present before.
And then she like looks at her helmet and then hands it over to Octavian. She's like, "Fix that, tech priest."
I think this is the first time you've ever seen Sister Evelyn.
yeah. This will be the first time she's been marching around in a Sabbath Crusade helmet for quite some time with the fleur de lis on the front of it.
Yeah.
She is what you would expect from a
fix the
sister
helmet.
battle. She's even got the classic fleur de lis tattoo just under her eye.
White blonde bob.
She hasn't got a white blonde bob because that's the
No, she's
armored
the
lady.
redhead, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a redhead. She's mahogany. She's got the bob. She's got the sister's bob, and mahogany, and green eyes and a very pale white skin.
Suppose that's
So
what
yeah,
you got
Aaron,
in
if you
no
want to
sunlight.
upgrade your rusty knife to a mono knife, you can.
Aaron would guess that she potentially came from the lower underhive because she's not seen much sunlight and therefore hence her pale skin.
Mm.
That would be something.
Sister, what level did you come from in your hive? Because I'd never seen the sun either.
She just smiles and then walks off and then says, "Hurry along, everyone. They will not stay scattered for long." And
I
Tech
will
Priest,
hurry along.
don't break that.
Oh no, the tech priest is cherishing the helmet as it has been blessed by the machine spirit, and so he'll be kind of like,
You just got that big
Looking
cheeky
at it.
grin in his face.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, he probably doesn't get his hands on power
On
armor
power-
very
yeah.
often.
You're going to get that thing back, and it's going to have like 20 attachments and a shoulder strap.
Ah,
Yeah,
but
completely normal power armor all the way up to the head, and then suddenly a Terminator helmet. One of the old ones. You know, that big jowly Terminator mask.
Yeah. Should be like, it'd be like a bobblehead, and it should be like, ah! It's off balance. But yeah, she's kind of like stomping now through the thing, making like she's also making a bit of extra noise so people can hear the power armor stomping around now, just to create a bit of extra fear and intimidation for anyone who might attack us. And then she's heading in what she believes is the general direction of the elevator, the big elevator that we want to actually get on. Every now and again, she's like, Scar, what direction are we going? But she's navigating well enough, but every now and again needs Scar to just point us in the right direction.
Of course, sister. I'm happy to keep us going. Right, we got to go that way. I believe that's a survival roll. Somebody make that real quick. Sorry, I'm upgrading my knife because he's very happy about this knife. All right. And survival. What's the base difficulty, Ben?
Just a 3.
Bloody
Because you kind of
hell.
know your way around down here.
So I got 9 successes. I can shift 3 of them, but I also got a complication because I can only roll 1s on my wrath die tonight, apparently. 1s or 6s.
Well, you unerringly know exactly where it is you're heading. But you also know that you are being hunted. You can feel them out there. You can hear them out there. You are familiar with this feeling. You're not familiar with walking along with the people that might actually be able to handle it. So that's kind of new to you. But you know they're out there, and you know that they're coming for you. So do you really want to lead them to a route up?
So he looks back at the sister. He's a sister, real quiet, like we're being hunted by something down here. So do you want me to take us up, or do you want me to try to find us someplace where we could possibly violently negotiate with the hunters?
We must get this paper back to the Inquisitor. Do not worry, Sakar. I am aware we are being hunted, and should they rear their ugly head, I shall take it off. And she pats her bolt gun.
All right, sister. I'm with you on that one. So yeah, we'll keep going up then.
Scar, keep yourself close. If weapons fire engages, hide behind me. I don't mean that from a nice point of view. The ceramite will protect you.
Oh yeah, sister, for sure. I'm definitely gonna hide behind you. That's what I've been doing all the time. I mean, no offense, but you're like a giant armored shield.
Correct. Smart.
Well, Fagin didn't raise no idiots, sister.
He never does. And we continue to stomp along.
So as you continue to stomp along, I'm going to ask everybody to make an awareness check.
Oh, damn it. I'm no good at this one.
Let's see if I can fail my awareness. One of my best things. We'll see if I can fail it again.
Can I use glory because we've got a million of them?
Sure, go for it.
He's just got another one.
All right, I will use a glory too, just because I can't fail this again. Finally, 7 successes.
Okay, gradually the sounds following you tail off. Clearly, Dan, you've scared them off. They can't handle you. You're too much Imperial super soldier for them to be able to handle. However, Simon, Aaron, Jim, you become aware that the reason that the hunters have peeled off and stopped following you is because of something scarier. following you. This is like when the hyenas stop hunting you because the lion's following you.
Right.
There's something bigger and nastier out there, and it's got your scent. Now, Aaron, were you leading them somewhere where you had an open field of fire?
Yeah, I was looking, well, we were still going to go up, but I was looking for a place where if we got ambushed or if we got jumped, we could turn the ambush on them.
Can I try and use my stealth and be a bit stealthy as we're walking along?
Yeah, you can. Or you could make a survival check to lay a trap.
No, stealth's much better than survival.
Okay.
I could always try that, Mr. Battle, Father. I mean, I've been down here a long time. We hunt down in these down here in these. I could try to trap it, Father.
Sounds good.
All right, Mr. Battle. Let me see what I can come up with here. Is it okay if I use another point of glory?
Yep.
9 successes.
Right. So you think that the best way to trap this thing would be to set up camp for the night and do that whole la la la, we are not aware of any danger, la la la, we're all going to just totally tuck in for the night, everything's fine kind of thing, whilst simultaneously all being prepared for something to sneak in and go for it. Julius, if you're stealthing to hide, go for it. What does everybody else want to do as their part in the potential ambuscade? And Sakar, remember that you've still got a free use of phantom form. I mean, and a free use of regeneration, but phantom form is the relevant one.
Unless anyone's actively told Octavius, he probably doesn't even know an ambush is going on. He'll be focusing on the helmet.
Yeah, the sister is wanting a helmet fix because if there's a potential ambush coming, she doesn't want her head exposed. Headshots hurt when you haven't got a helmet on. Tell that to the Space Wolves.
Just you can't get good scars if you wear a helmet, can you?
There's only a limited surface area available for getting scars on.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Space Wolves don't wear t-shirt versions of power armor. So, Dan, while you're setting up camp, do you want to make a tech roll to try and fix the helmet?
Sure. That's as they've said in the chat, update this with a new user patch and give it a Windows update.
Don't ever do a Windows update.
Might take a while now. There you go.
So is the helmet Bluetooth to the suit, or is it got like a little connection?
And you have to restart it 2 or 3 times.
9 successes, I think.
So the damage was mostly to just one of the optics. It's not a difficult fix for you. So you replace and repair the optical lens and the targeting reticule and all of those little bits.
While we're resting and setting up camp, Sakar is going to use his Born Survivor talent to use his survival skills to heal himself of his shock, or try to. Yep. So it's you heal rank +1 of your shock. So I'm back up to normal.
Okay, cool. Jim, what do you want to do to ready yourself for this?
I'm going to try and dip into the shadows.
Okay, so it's a stealth roll from you and one from Simon.
I made mine.
You made yours. Sorry.
Yeah.
The rolls have gone past. I missed it.
I only got like 9. No.
Oh, yeah, there you are. 6 successes will do the trick.
Yeah.
We waiting for Jim to make his stealth roll.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I thought it was coming through.
No,
My
I'm
bad.
miles away. Doll. There we go.
He hides behind a pole. So you all like
As long
hunker
as I've got my
down.
back against something, that's all that needs done.
You hunker down. You set up camp and fake out this going to sleep thing. And after you've been like that for a couple of hours, a hulking shadow detaches itself from the pipes nearby and starts moving closer towards you. It's carrying this chunk of metal that might have been some kind of tool or part of a gantry, hard to tell, lurching towards you, and it's big. It's very big. This is not a small creature. And as it lurches into the vision of your helmet's scopes, Dan, you can see that it's a hideously misshapen human covered in mismatched bits of scavenged armor, carrying an auto pistol and this massive club, riddled with mutations, bulging with muscles, covered in scabs and scars, no lips, its teeth on full display, bits of metal sort of wedged into its skin, and it looks like it's been there for so long that it's kind of settled in place.
How
And
close
it
is it now?
lurches its way over to where Sakaar is resting, and it reaches out for him. But you guys get to go first because it doesn't know that you're waiting for it.
Excellent. I assume we all open fire with random weapons and so on and so forth.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I'm happy to. Not gonna.
I don't think I'd even dare shoot anything before Sister Evelyn had already shot it. I think it's like protocol, isn't it?
Can't we let the person with the biggest gun shoot first?
Yeah.
Then in which case she will use her last faith point with divine guidance and give herself a double rank bonus again, and open fire with the bolt guns. She kind of swings up off the floor on one knee as it approaches, and she opens fire. Kablamo.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
She will shift the two. Well, actually, what's his defense rating?
Defense rating is 3, has a resilience of 5.
Okay, then in which case she will shift both of those. And is he in rapid fire range?
Yes.
Yes, and in which case he's going to get hit twice. So I'll shift those two over to damage. Oh, he's just taken 14 points of damage twice.
Now I ignore 5 of that from the resilience.
You do indeed. So he would take 9 points of damage twice.
18 points of damage.
Holy cats.
It's a hard hit.
That is a very hard hit.
And you can see this light glowing from the sister. Like she's so, it's almost like you're in the presence of almost like a saint. Not quite a saint, but you've actually, for Sakaar, you may never have seen this before.
No,
it may look like a saint to you.
he's
She's glowing with the Emperor's light.
Now, I can't shift enough of that into shock to save this guy. Even if I shift 4 points of that into shock, the remaining 5 wounds is still enough to off it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Wow, sister.
E-level threat.
Sister, you're fabulous, sister. You're glowing like an angel, sister. That was amazing.
The
So
Emperor
the
shines
bolt
through.
shoots out from your rifle. Sorry, the bolts, because you shoot twice, don't you?
It's rapid fire.
Embedding one in the chest, one in the throat of this thing. And when they explode, they just kind of tear it open. And this creature falls to the ground, leaking black ichor all over the floor in front of you.
Ew, gross.
This thing is monstrous, truly hideous. It's the size of an ogrin, but clearly wasn't one. This has come from human stock and been twisted by exposure to foul forces.
Suffer not the mutant. Father, burn it.
Indeed.
So
I'm going to
perhaps
set
I
fire-
could perform an autopsy first.
Stay away from it. It's a mutant.
I just don't see that
No.
happening.
Know your enemy.
Would you like to perform an autopsy on it before I burn it?
I would indeed.
Of course, I'd have to burn you as well, just to be sure that the corruption hasn't spread.
This is knowledge that can be used to better defeat our enemies and
Indeed,
to better be able to kill them.
First, before I burn you, then it'll be fine. But
I've had this conversation with Roger and Dan. Give me the magic book. No. Give me the magic book. No, we're putting it in the fire.
Octavian, I do not think there is anything to be gained from autopsying this thing. There is greater information to be had.
and while I'm still
This
looking
is acceptable.
while I'm still looking at Octavius, I'm going to set fire to the body.
The corpse
to-
of the
nice.
mutant burns.
It is nice to see the machine spirit in your flamer work so effectively.
Smells like chicken.
I'm not sure that it does.
We should probably move on because the stench is really bad.
The stench of the Emperor's light is a gift to us all.
Yeah. Well, let's leave the gift for other people. If we move on, they'll come and enjoy it.
You remain untouched for the remainder of your journey back to the elevator. And when you arrive at the elevator, again, the floor has had the door locked down, triple encrypted, sealed off against access. And
See,
just before you're about to walk out into the corridor, Octavian, you pick up a sense that there's an auto gun turret mounted near the elevator door. There's a couple of dead bodies on the floor in front of it.
Sister, this place.
Can I
is-
access it from here?
Are you going to tell the others that it's there?
Yes. Had to think about it for a moment, but yes.
Just need to check if it works.
Sister, this place is full of corruption. I suggest when we finish giving these pages that we request an exterminus onto this whole area.
Indeed, the sisters of my order will want to cleanse this zone. With
Which
fire
point
and holy
Octavian
fire.
chips in and lets you know that.
An automated defense turret is up ahead.
I believe that's your area of expertise, is it not, Octavian?
Indeed.
Take control of it and set its targets to heretic.
Editorial priest. I will. Can I take command of it? Can I link into it?
Yeah, make a tech check.
Tech check.
I don't think you're going to struggle given that your level of tech.
Tech.
wow.
Oh, we got a point of glory.
So yeah, this
Yeah.
thing has the most rudimentary of controls. It's basically movement controlled. Anything that walks out there is getting blasted. But you hack into the wall circuits and go through like 3 relays to come back into it. There's no way anybody who didn't have your implants would be able to manage the same level of progress.
Has it got sensors on it?
It has.
Is there any way I can use it just to double check to make sure we're not being followed? Or if there's a certain
Its
Xenos,
sensors
there still
don't
might be on
actually
a
have that kind of range.
that
on
kind
it.
of range.
It's literally movement and heat sensors.
Okay. Well, in which case I will shut it down, but keep the sensors up and running just to make sure that
So you can shut it down
as
long
we're
enough to
walking
walk
past it,
it.
yeah.
And
But
then
also to make sure
boot
no
it
one
back
else
up
walks
again.
past it as well. And then I'm going to hack this door,
Okay.
which I'm going to borrow.
I'm not actually going to make you roll to hack the
Okay.
door because your tech skill is at a level where it's no longer necessary for you to really try.
Right.
What is your tech skill at the minute?
Well, I just upped it, so this skill level itself is 5, but then I've got my intellect bonus and a +1 for my implant, so it's a total of 10.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a challenge to you. There's almost no way you can fail to hack the door. This is one of those silly things, isn't it? Where you've got a Mechanicus priest. If you fail hacking the door, it's incredibly unlikely. It's like,
Or embarrassing.
yeah, like making you roll to walk upstairs. So yeah, you hack the elevator. It arrives very quickly because it was only 1 floor down.
I will gesture to the rest of the party as the doors open.
Step in.
And you ride the elevator straight back up. A couple of 100 floors go past. You cross the 100 barrier. And you're back into the level where the Inquisition has their base. And the lift stops, doors open, you step out, and everybody make an awareness check.
Were we supposed to bring back those 2 tourist nobles that we brought down with us?
That was just Simon scamming money out of people.
All right, then.
Well, no, actually, it was like it would have given us greater influence in the society, wouldn't it? So it did have a purpose. Can I have some glory for this? Because we've got a minute.
Sure.
I just added 1 to the pool, so absolutely.
So did I.
Oh, wrath complication.
Oh, Aaron.
That's not me. That's Simon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I stood in front of Jim. Shit. Why did I do that?
Jim doesn't make it. Aaron does make it. Dan makes it. Dan makes it, and then some. Simon, oh dear, Simon, the smell that hits your nose makes you vomit almost explosively. As soon as the lift door opens, just the stench hits you. Everybody else smells it as well. Yeah. Except for who didn't make it. Wasn't it Jim that didn't make it?
I got
Yeah.
2 versus
You
3
got 2, so you're like,
All you can smell is promethium.
yeah. Just this level of stench just washes over the lift as the doors open, and everybody else, it's eye-watering, except for Julius, who it's vomit-inducing for, and he vomits. So take a point of shock, Julius.
Yep, sure.
From the hideous levels of nausea.
Where's shop?
This
Shop, I
place,
found it,
this smells like a sump lake. It's like we're on level 600 or something.
This is not good.
And as you step out of the lift, you can see that there are significant rust patches on the gantryways. The handholds have rusted and broken. There's fungal spores in the air and mold growing on the walls. that wasn't that wasn't there like 2 days ago when you left.
So are we on the right floor?
According to the numbers, yes. But it's almost unrecognizable based on the level of stench and corruption.
Can I
you
make an
see.
investigation roll for
You
my
certainly
environment?
can.
Because I'll be able to see if there's like, you know, actually there was a screw missing on that bit of gantry, you know, that kind of thing.
Ooh, nice. Wrath critical.
Nice. Yes, you are definitely on the right floor. But
Can
something truly terrible has happened here. The only way this level of corruption could happen in this short a space of time is through the influence of the ruinous powers.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I was going to say, can I do a scholar roll and using my purity of faith, do I feel the sense of taint? But as you've just said that.
Yeah, that isn't necessarily roll worthy. The smell, the corruption, the fungal blooms, the protein slime hanging off of things.
Okay.
So
Sakar subtly shifts behind Sister Evelyn.
Yeah, stay close. My purity of faith ability might give us some protection here. 15-meter bubble of double rank bonus against corruption tests. We might need that.
You might.
So with my knowledge of the upper hive, which is where we are now, if we're going to try and get out and continue, let's assume everyone's dead. If we're going to continue our mission to the wastes, is there another floor we can go to that might better allow us?
Yeah, I mean, you can head outside and get lifts down to the surface level. It's hundreds of floors away.
Yeah, I'm just.
But yes, you could make it, or you could try and find a vehicle here.
Yeah, but just
is my order based on this level? Do we have a chapel?
No, your order have a chapel. No, actually, not on this hive.
No, we don't have a chapel in this hive.
No,
there is no presence of my order here other than myself. Oh, that's sad. We should proceed to the Inquisitor.
I'm right. I'm right behind you there, sister.
Can you, Octavian? Can you message him? Can you get a communication to him?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. That and any other Imperial signals.
Yeah.
I will start kind of going through the bandwidths and the sneak signal lines and whatever else I can find on the
there appears
comms
to
see
be,
if I can get any.
From your signals, there is a repeat beacon coming from the inquisitorial quarters. Just a beacon. It's not an inquisitorial beacon, it's an Astartes beacon. There is an Astartes SOS beacon pinging from the inquisitorial quarters. Scanning through the other channels, there appears to be some kind of raging battles happening a few floors up and a few floors down against some kind of
powers.
Monstrous foes. They can't really it's unclear what's being said. The gravediggers, who are the local militarum force, are engaged actively on the 81st floor and on the 107th floor, but there is no communication coming from anywhere between those 2 points.
Right. Do I recognize the Astartes signal as a space shark one?
Yep, it is definitely a space shark. In fact,
so
you would recognize it as the beacon of
Brother
Sergeant Dursek Uval.
Urval,
sorry.
I can only get the SOS signal of Brother Dervek from the inquisitorial accommodations. It is an Astartes SOS signal. There appears to be battles raging on floor. What was it? 108?
81 and 107.
81 and 107.
That's where signals start. Yeah. You're in a clear space where there are no Imperial signals.
There are no Imperial signals in our area.
We should proceed to the sergeant.
That's if he's still alive.
He is an Astartes. A chosen warrior of the Emperor.
I don't think we have a choice but to go to the signal of the Astartes.
If you
So you
have a
start to
rebreather, I
Pick
suggest
your
you wear
way
one.
through. Yeah, anybody who's got a breather.
My
Well,
face is my
You
breather.
don't really breathe, Dan.
Yeah, I don't breathe.
Sakara's like, there, Mr. Battle, I don't suppose you got an extra one of those things in your, coat or something.
where I would surely know where we could get
Yeah, on this
breather.
floor, you would know where you could pick up a breather. But would you
Okay.
want to pick up a breather that's been on this floor?
Well, it depends if it's sealed. It depends if it's, it's got to be better than breathing this
When
in.
you do get to the emergency breather
Yeah.
cabinet, they're horribly corrupted,
Okay, fine.
full of spores and patterns and weird bacterial growths.
Yeah. Okay. I will step forward and I'll turn around and I'll stand in front of our merry band, and I will use I will invoke my inquisitorial decree. Yeah. So inquisitorial decree, you can invoke the name of your inquisitor. What's the name of my inquisitor? I keep forgetting.
Alan Troyle.
Alan Troyle. Right. So I'll invoke the name of my inquisitor. This will gain a +2 rank bonus to any social skill, blah 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 blah. But it also gives, I think it. Yeah. That's it. So basically, I'm trying, because you can use it to like reduce fear and all that stuff, the whole leadership thing. But essentially, I'm going to use my inquisitorial decree with that. I think I can do that, can't I? If I'm trying to give them
You're giving him a bit
Rousing
of a
speech.
morale
rousing.
boost.
Yeah, that's the kind of
So
thing.
a morale boost from you and purity from Sister Evelyn.
Yeah. So to try and ward off any need for them to have corrupt thoughts or that kind of thing, or to give them protection from it.
And you carefully pick your way through this foulness to the inquisitorial office.
It's just to giving prayers every step of the way.
There are bodies piled high in this place.
I imagine the Father is burning every pile that we come by.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, the corruption here is astronomical. These bodies are twisted mockeries of once humans. Their features distended and pulled, their bodies bloated and distended. Weird horns and pustules open on their skin. They look like they've all been ripped apart by chainsword and bolter. There's evidence of power sword damage, lasgun fire. The first non-corrupted body that you come across is Nexian Iota 2 of the Lex Mechanicus, who's clearly fallen in combat, surrounded by bodies. So, Dan, there's the body of another Mechanicus there.
His body. I mean, preserve the machine spirit.
Right, so if you want to try and recoup any elements of the machine, you can make a tech roll.
Yep.
Difficulty on that is going to be 7 to avoid corruption,
right.
though.
I think tech roll or medic roll.
Either or, actually. Medicae is acceptable, but
And
difficulty is 7.
Can I take a wrath point?
Glory point.
Glory point, sorry. It's gonna be tricky. Heresy.
6 successes.
I bet it was difficulty 7, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So you salvage some of the machine, but you're not entirely sure how corruption free it is.
That's it.
It's not something you want to attach straight away.
Oh God, no! I want to test.
Preserve
all of
it
this.
in an evidence baggie and keep it for later, maybe.
Is it a wrath die he could have used to do something to his roll? I can't remember. It's not glory, is it?
Oh, I see what you mean. The actual wrath points that you start with. Yeah. I think that counts. Does that count as an auto success?
You can spend a wrath point to re-roll a failure, add a narrative element, or restore shock equal to your rank plus your tier.
So there you go. You can re-roll one of those dice if you want for a wrath point.
If you want to pass, that is, you may be happy with what you've rolled.
Well, one reroll.
You re-roll your
only-
failed.
Okay.
You re-roll your.
If you
failed
re-roll
dice.
one of the ones,
Yeah.
you only have to get, what is it?
You get
4,
to
5, or
re-roll.
6.
You can re-roll all your failures.
Oh,
Oh, it's
there you
all
go.
the fails.
All right, wicked.
Crap,
You're
so how
likely
would
to
you
get-
do that?
/roll space 1, 2, 3, 4,
8.
5,
It
8
It says at the bottom,
D6.
failure 8.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but is that including the 2?
Yes.
You wouldn't want to re-roll that, would you? You wouldn't want to re-roll and
All
potentially
right,
get
No,
slash-
you don't re-roll
Slash
your wrath
roll
dice.
7d6. Drama.
Sorry.
It's fine, no, because it'll
That's
show
fine,
you.
you
If
click
they
it,
click on
you-
the number, you got a 5, a 2, a 6, a 3, a 4, a 2, and a 5.
5. You've got 5 more successes there.
So you
Yep.
did get loads
Cool.
more successes. So you managed to successfully remove some of the augmetics. One augmetic from the fallen Mechanicus.
Ooh, fun times.
The next body that you come across is Sister Keris,
The Dialogus.
Dialogus, pure and untouched by any corruption. Her body lies in a circle on the floor in which no fungal hyphae or bacterial spores have dared enter.
She got her rebreather on.
She has, yeah.
Then I'm going to say a benediction. Give her a nice little. And then I'm going to ask the father to burn her, but not before I remove her rebreather and her books, because she's a dialogus, so she'll have a lot of books and they're
Books and
important
scrolls.
books. So I'll remove them, and then she'll give the rebreather to Scar. Put this on.
Oh, thank you, sister. That's very kind of you.
Don't thank me. Thank her.
What was her name again? I didn't actually get to meet her.
Sister
Sister
Keris.
Keris.
Thank you, Sister Cass. I really appreciate your sacrifice for the Emperor and the Emperor's blessings, Eagle. I don't know if I did that right or not, sister, but I did my best.
Inside the Inquisitor's room itself, you come across the almost unrecognizable remains of at least 2 people. You believe them to be the tech priest of the Mechanicus, Sonaf Vanderbu, and the Inquisitor himself, although the largest part that you can find is an ear. They've been exploded, literally burst around all of the walls. And again, there are dozens of bodies in here, including at this point some bodies of creatures in what looks like horribly corrupted Astartes armor.
Oh dear.
Can I do a scholar roll to recognize it as something? What kind of space marine armor it is? Heraldry.
Yes, you can.
Can I take a glory point, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the difficulty roll here?
Difficulty roll here is 5.
Oof. No.
It's green.
Green.
Can I try can I try the same thing?
Yes, you can.
Can I argue a different role to a scholar role, or
Not really. It's a scholar roll. For you, it would be difficulty 7. You might still make it.
yeah?
Oh, so close.
So close.
So close. Yeah, green. It's got like bronzy highlights, but all the gross wormy bits sticking out of it is kind of nasty.
Is there any sign of the sergeant?
For those of you at home following along, these would be Death Guard Space Marines.
What's a death guard?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what
I
difference.
don't know what that is. That's heresy.
That would be heresy. Quite.
That would be
Good you
heresy.
don't know. Yes, the sergeant's beacon is coming from inside the next room, the armory.
If one of these bodies is or no, because we don't know if it's the Inquisitor's body.
The
so
Inquisitor's been liberally spread across walls.
his fancy power sword's not lying around, is it?
His fancy power sword is not lying around. No.
Damn it.
Can I check the room, as in the sense that when I was last here, can I make an investigation check?
Yes, you can make an
Often
investigation
people
check.
will involuntarily look at something like a painting on the wall that's got a shape.
How
behind it, that
difficult
kind of
do you
thing.
want your investigation check to be? The harder you make it, the more exciting the information you'll get.
Should we go 7?
If you think you can make it, you go for it.
Should we go 7? Can I have a glory?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's no shortage of glory. Why not?
Because I can use a raft to re-roll if I need to.
That too.
Did I just roll? Yeah, I did. So I'll
Got
use a
6.
raft.
So you've got 3 fails there.
Yeah. So I use raft. I don't know where raft is written.
It's in your
Right
top
up
right
there.
corner
Top right
of your
corner.
main
Oh, yeah,
page.
so I use one of those, and then it's
slash
and then
roll
public.
3d6.
Oh, yeah. Forwards. Oh no, yeah. So / roll 3d6. Did that work? And then that's not very good, is it?
You've got
Yeah,
your one
5
success
and a
you
one.
needed, huh?
That's all you needed.
That's all needed. Wicked. I thought 7 got to be worth something in it.
Yeah. And your investigation, initially you start off just looking for the Inquisitor's power sword. Like, why isn't that here? That should absolutely be here. Then you realize the other thing that's missing is that there are not enough bodies. Jock Valdaniak, the interrogator that the Inquisitor keeps on staff, is also missing.
Okay.
And yet there is evidence that a power sword was used on some of these bodies.
Right.
Traitor.
So he is missing, presumed not dead.
Yeah.
And then in the armory, you find the bloody remains of Sergeant Dursek. There is breath left in him yet, but not much. He's sat next to a small portable freezer unit. His armor is in tatters and ruins, the silver shredded and pockmarked with damage. And he looks like he's taken a knife to himself a couple of times. And he looks up at you as you come in. One of the eyes is blank on his helmet, the other one still functioning. And he takes a shuddering, hissing breath through the rebreather in his mask. You're alive.
By the Emperor's grace, so you, Sergeant. Medicae, quickly.
I will not survive.
But you are the Emperor's angels.
And you must perform the surgery. His hand sort of flops open, pointing in the rough direction of the freezer unit.
Got to take his nose, haven't you?
I'm assuming the Sister of Battle knows what he's referring to.
You've probably heard that there is some kind of ritual on their death where some of their organs are harvested.
That's got to be a scholar check.
As a
I'm happy to roll it. I'm happy to roll.
biologist, would I know about this?
You'd just be like so excited.
I already am.
Let's see how Dan goes on his scholar check.
Okay.
Really badly.
Can I re-roll that one with my raft die?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you can't.
can.
Oh, okay.
Can I not roll a raft complication? No, you can't roll a raft complication. No, sorry, you can't re-roll that. Cool. No, I rolled 2 successes, but I also got a raft complication.
Something organ harvesting. You're supposed to put the head in the freezer or something.
Sergeant, what must we do?
take Progenoi Glan.
Is the inquisitor dead or alive?
Dead. He presses a control on his belt, and the seals holding his chest plate on pop open.
I have to remember that next time I'm fighting in Astartes.
Just dip in, press the belt.
Sister Evelyn looks to Octavian. Octavian, you must, lacking a Space Marine apothecary, you must perform the final rite.
Everyone will bow solemnly and very respectfully, even though in his head, ding, 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 ding.
Before you get too close to the Space Marine, though, she does stop you moving close. This is not an autopsy for fun. This is an Emperor's Angel. Take the gene, put it in the jar.
So I kind of assume that I know what's going on here. Is that all right, Ben, or do I need to make a
Well,
roll?
you, Dan, might know what's going on.
No,
I
but
don't think that
as a mechanic,
Octavian,
because he's a mechanicus biologist, no?
as a
make a
biologist,
roll.
you can make a scholar roll.
I'm a scholar roll or a medic roll?
Make a scholar roll to see how much you know
I would
first.
imagine outside of Belisarius, cool. There isn't many people
There
in
aren't that
Mechanicus,
many, no.
because it's very sacred to
Okay.
the Space Marines.
Oh dear. What's the difficulty?
More than that.
I haven't rolled anything yet.
Oh, okay, that's right. Oh, that's Dan P's roll. So yeah, your difficulty on the scholar is going to be a difficulty 5.
Can I take a
Yes.
thingy? Thank you. 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
With bonuses.
So yes, when a Space Marine dies, you've read things. You're supposed to harvest organs. You definitely haven't seen a poster in someone's office that's pointing at a bunch of organs, because if you had done that, would have been heretical and illegal. So you definitely haven't seen that.
Okay.
But that does mean that your Medicaid roll to remove the relevant parts is now only 5 instead of 7.
Christ.
Does that? I lean down to the sergeant and like, may the Emperor take you into his grace.
Look,
And she-
I know I've got a really high Medicaid roll, but can I take another thing just in case?
Yes,
I
yes,
really don't
yes.
want to fail this.
Does he have a bolt pistol on him?
He does, yes, and a
Then-
chainsword.
Then she's gonna through the side of his head, so he doesn't feel the man ripping out his bits and
Organs.
pieces. She obviously communicates she's gonna do this to the sergeant.
Wow, that's punk. That's just really bad.
Do you have any ref dice?
I think you have
Should
one wrath
yeah,
point
you've got
left,
one left.
because you
I just
start
re-
with 2 each session.
Yeah.
That's awful.
So re-roll those 8 die.
I'm going to re-roll the whole thing. Jesus. It was difficulty 5, wasn't it? Oh, Jesus.
You're trying to fail.
Passed, but by the skin of my teeth. But it's still a pass.
Yes, so you managed to harvest the organs of the Space Marine.
It's an Astartes body. It's really complicated.
They are quite challenging. Into the freezer unit. Who knows what you're going to do with them?
Nothing,
minutes.
because the sister of battle picks it up.
Yeah.
She's not letting the tech priest anywhere near that.
Yeah.
She hooks it onto her backpack. Gather what weapons and we can from this armory. We must move.
I'm assuming there's weapons and stuff in here.
There are. Many of them have been corrupted.
Okay. Can I see if there's well, I'm a heretical anti-corruption type inquisitor dude. Can I see if there's a plasma?
I tell you what,
pistol or
Simon, I will
power
let
sword
you
or-
roll.
Yeah.
Investigation,
That's good because I'm good at that.
difficulty 5.
Yeah.
a number of successes is number of items modified by rarity.
Can we burn Space Marine's body because I don't want it to be corrupted?
That would be up to Jim, really.
I'll use my. Well, I figured if one of the weapons was a plasma pistol, you could overload the plasma in the pistol, and then that would basically do the job, wouldn't it? Much better than just fire.
As long as we're not in here, and yes,
Yeah,
the
of
ceramite
course.
won't burn.
Yes, if you want to overload a weapon to cause a bomb, that's not a problem.
I figured we could do that. That would be much better going out present to a Space Marine than anything else, wouldn't it?
Sakar says, Mr. Battle, is there any of this any armor in here that's not all fungusy? Because
roll.
I lived in the Underhigh my entire life, and I have never come as close to death as I have in the last 2 days with you fine folks. No offense.
Evelyn's not currently listening. She's kneeling down next to the dead Space Marine,
The
placing
only
his
item
chainsword
that's
on his
in it,
chest.
boy, is the light of the Emperor.
I understand that, Father, but I'm just saying a flak coat might be nice too.
So I got 7 successes.
You got 7 successes to find stuff.
So I rolled 6, and then I just re-rolled using my last wrath. So I've got 7.
Okay, let me find a plasma.
Just take off my wrath.
Plasma. Plasma weapons are rare.
Yeah.
So it goes common, uncommon, rare. So that's 3 of your successes to find a plasma gun.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That can be overloaded, leaving 4 successes worth of kit still to be salvaged.
Okay, so that'll be a rare item.
Awesome flak armor for our dear little friend.
Okay.
Aaron, if you want to find some flak armor, that's only a common item, so that would be the 4th point.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 points worth of stuff still to find.
Okay. So we'll basically just find one rare item.
Yes.
And then Aaron
I suppose
can have,
there's
flak
the
armor.
chainsaw that the Space Marine was holding.
So big.
It would be too big for any of us, even for me to wield.
Yeah, wouldn't even go near it.
That is true. What would a Dialogus be carrying?
They generally carry staffs, so nothing worth really using.
4 staff is uncommon.
It wouldn't be force because she wouldn't be a psycho.
Oh, that's true.
We're not there's no witches in this as well. So I'm not after any gear anyway. I put his blade
There
on
you
his
go. So a
chest.
bit of flak armor for Sakar.
Yeah.
Can I just have a flak coat instead of flak armor?
Yes.
Seems more fitting with my character as opposed to
Yeah. And an overloadable plasma pistol. And if you don't want anything else, that's fine.
Let me find another. Let me just see what the pistols are. Oh, maybe we could find a hand flamer, and then when Jim's character runs out of fuel, he can basically just go, "Oh,
What's
that'd be
bad?
really funny." Do you want a hand flamer, Jim?
He's already got a hand flamer, isn't he?
Hey,
I've got a hand flame. I could do a bolt or something.
Yeah, if you want.
Or a real flamer, a full flamer.
You can. Do you want a full flamer?
Full flamer would be good.
Yeah, full flamer. Okay, so that's uncommon. So that's gonna take us 2. So that leaves us 1 left, doesn't it?
You probably want to use just say the last point is to overload the plasma gun.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't need anything, so yeah, okay, we'll do that then.
There's also the sergeant's bolt pistol that anyone can take. The Sister of Battle doesn't need it. She's got a massive bolt
It's
gun.
quite big, isn't it?
It's going to be
Aren't
quite
they
big.
really
Yeah, I mean, they're bigger than your ad. They're probably like a small rifle for weedy arms.
I think basically I'd walk funny, wouldn't I? I'd walk with like a limp. Do you know what I mean? Dunk, dunk, walk around with a bolt pistol.
Also, any other Space Marine that saw you might be like, "Oi,
Yeah.
Where did you get that space?
So Jim's got a flamer. Aaron's got a flak jacket, and then we can have an overloaded plasma pistol that you can blow up the Space Marine with.
Sounds great. Let's roll
Sounds
out.
good. We'll roll.
So we end today then. Oh, I better tell Pete that we're ready to wrap it up. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's the right thing. So we end our session with the somber group of you heading out of the Inquisitor's quarters back into the grotesque, plague-corrupted ruins of the hive, with a massive plasma explosion going off behind you. And of course, none of you look back because cool guys don't look at explosions.
And we closed, didn't we? I assume we closed the door, so it blew everything else up in the armory.
And you make your way to one of the outer elevators and ride that down. Once you're outside the hive, you can see that there's some kind of crashed spacecraft in the levels of the hive that you were on. Looks like an absolute piece of crap, just like a landing shuttle or something that's crashed into the hive.
Yeah.
Simon, you suspect that this was a targeted assault designed to go for the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Something he knew or something he was doing drew the attention of forces beyond mortal comprehension. And now the only lead that you've got is in your pocket and in the desert.
And the missing guy, will he have likely have made any? Oh, it's fine. I'll ask next time.
I think on our way out, also I would have asked Octavian to link us into some beep 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 satellite speaking thing. Probably would have passed the warning on to one of the other hives that has our chapel with my order in it, so they're aware that there is corruption and what looks to be heretic Astartes on the planet, but are of unknown origin. Because we could definitely tell they're heretic Astartes. Just don't know who they are.
Probably for the best. I mean, if you were a bit more highly up the food chain, they might say, who were they? But if you start talking about who they were, they'd have questions for you.
Exactly. So I've just identified, and I've also reported the dialogues as death as well. Just a beep, beep, beep. Because they'll be somewhere in one of the other hives. We'll probably have a special channel. And then I'll tell Octavian if he ever uses that channel again, I'll shoot him in the head.
So your
I would
elevator
dream of it.
reaches ground level and you stand in the cold shadow of the hive. Filth and effluent spill out from the sides of the hive in rivers. The desert stands before you, red, orange, and empty of anything except these rivers of industrial pollution and the corpses of long dead superfauna. There is a vehicle garage nearby being operated by the gravediggers.
Sakara's stunned because he has never seen the sky before. He just doesn't, he's just standing there frozen in momentary fear because he's never been this open ever.
A power armored gauntlet grabs you by the shoulder. If you think this is impressive, you should see space.
Sister, you mind if I just stick close to you? I'm a little uncomfortable out here. I didn't think I would be, but this doesn't feel right to me.
You get used to it after a while.
If
You
say
see one
so,
of the
sister.
guardsmen sort of waving to you when they see the armored figure of the sister.
Wave back.
Waving like this, not like that.
Before we leave the hive, I'll get Octavian to check to see if there's any trace of Jot Valdaniak.
Jot Valdaniak.
Yeah.
Just got a traitor's name, isn't he?
He does.
But no, Dan, there is no trace of him on the hive, or in fact having ever existed.
Ever existing.
Which is weird because you've met him.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose we'll have to go and get a requisition a ship.
So you head on over towards the Gravediggers depot, and we'll end it there with you guys about to head out into the desert on Gilead Primus to go and find Praxis, who might have more information for you. Fingers crossed. Anyway, any minute now, Pete will be along to switch us off and say, that's all, folks. Yuck, 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 as is his way. In the meantime, coming up in the rest of this week, tomorrow we've got the One Ring in Western Europe. And in the Americas, is it Acting Cthulhu?
Acting Cthulhu.
Acting Cthulhu. I am still on top of what's going on with the schedule. It's good. And then on Friday, we've got Jim.
I believe we've got the Enemy Within.
Jeff is disagreeing with you there, Aaron. He's saying it's Starfinder tomorrow. But what does he know?
He's probably right then.
I blame Matt. Let's be honest. We'll blame Matt. And then next week, we're back doing Wrath and Glory again because Lewis is away. So it's going to be Wrath and Glory next session next week. And then the Lex Arcana finale will be the week after that. And then we will see what's coming up then. Also next week, we've hopefully got the start of Coriolis and possibly, he said, eyeballing Dan, some hot, sweet cyberpunk action. I'm going to be Eddie Brock. It's going to be so cool. But that's us for now and for this week. In the meantime, stay safe and keep garblagging, and we will catch you tomorrow for more gamey goodness. Thank you and good night.
Good night.